friends, welcome back to Farm Girl Diaries. We're in the garden today, and before we actually get to our project, I just wanted to do a quick scan of the garden. I'm standing up, I'm 5'7", and we're finally getting to that point where the garden is kind of becoming like a secret garden. This hollyhock is probably 9 foot tall. My tomatoes are just below my shoulders. My corn is right at my shoulder, so everything's kind of getting really nice and big and tall, and I love it because when I sit at my patio table here, let me just do like a quick 360. When I sit at my patio table, I really like to kind of feel like I'm completely enclosed in my garden, and as especially the stuff in the back gets tall, I feel like I'm hidden in a little secret garden, and I like that. So it is the first day of July 1st, and it's actually incredibly cool. It's maybe 75 degrees out here. That's gonna change. It's gonna go back up to the mid 90s. So I'm gonna use this time to do some workout in the garden, because when it's 95 degrees outside, no part of me wants to work outside. So today, one of the things we're gonna be doing, the big thing, is we're gonna pull out our potatoes. So I'm gonna bring you down and show you my potatoes. My potatoes flowered about 2 weeks ago. I typically don't pull my potatoes until July 15th, around then. And before I even go in for these potatoes, I am gonna say I got these potatoes in a little bit late. I didn't plan on planting potatoes, so I think I put these in maybe beginning of May. I don't honestly remember. I've been harvesting like kind of as I have been wanting potatoes. I've been pulling a plant. Just my normal walkthroughs, I see a lot of potatoes kind of growing on the surface, and I've been covering them. So between the plants have flowered, and typically the plants flower, and then about 2 weeks after they flower, they start dying back. They look better today. Yesterday, when I decided I was going to pull them today, knowing the weather was going to be cool today, they actually also looked really bad. So I think they're not faring in the heat that well either. So I know I got the potatoes planted late, and I know I'm 2 weeks early, so I'm expecting to get smaller potatoes, and that's okay. I was not going to plant potatoes to begin with in the first place, and I did because I had these potatoes from my fall planting that sprouted, and we're either going to go in the compost bin and grow potatoes in the compost bin, or they could go in soil and grow me potatoes in the soil, which I really liked. So I decided every single year I'm going to do a small spring planting of potatoes. That's gonna be my fresh potatoes. I'm not gonna can them. I will cure them a little bit, but these are gonna be fresh eaten potatoes, and then I'm gonna go buy new potatoes just from the grocery store to plant here around July 15th. So typically what's what I'm looking for, harvest comes out and the next harvest goes in. So we are in the process of getting ready for fall. So I have my fall seedlings started. This potato bed here is going to be another potato bed. I don't have enough space. I do like to rotate. I don't like to plant anything in the same spot twice. I will not do it year to year, but here, trying to get a fall growing or a fall harvested of a lot of different things, I don't have kind of the room to move things around. So fall potatoes are going to go in this exact same bed, and then back there under that netting is where I'm going to put my fall brassicas. So that also needs to be taken off, and we might get to that today. I don't really know. I am kind of getting a little bit of a late start on it. That also needs to come off, and we need to kind of pull everything out of there. And so the brassicas are going to go there. Potatoes are going to go in the current potato bed, and then I have a couple of beds that I put beets in. I have a kale bed, and I have another kind of beet bed back there. I'm giving those until I'm ready to plant them, and then I'm gonna pull everything out of those beds and then reharvest or replant them for the fall. The reason I'm waiting to harvest or to empty these beds until I'm ready to plant them is because bare ground likes to grow plants. The earth does not like to be bare, so if you leave her bare, she will fill it with weeds. So it's no sense for me to harvest everything, have bare ground ready to plant, and then not plant it for 2-3 weeks. So I'm just gonna leave those beds filled until I'm ready to plant. This potato bed that we're gonna empty today, we're gonna cover it back up with straw so it's not just bare earth, and then we will be amending it with some more compost, some more fertilizers, and getting it ready for its fall planting. So let me bring you down, show you what these plants look like. And then when I get to digging, and digging potatoes is one of my favorite things. I feel like you're digging for treasure. And typically when I grow spring potatoes, you're digging in the worst of the heat. And so this year we're getting it on a really cool day. I'm 2 weeks early. I don't even care. We're gonna do it. Okay, so this area you can see I've already harvested from. This is something you can see I've kind of been, my potatoes doing that, kind of just growing a little on the surface. So these plants actually, I will say, don't look too bad. They looked worse yesterday, I think maybe because of the heat. But you can see kind of they're starting to die back a little bit. And then over here, I have volunteer potatoes. And these volunteer potatoes are just now blooming. So I think, and you can see down there at the bottom, their leaves look really bad. We've actually got a lot of rain, so these shouldn't be thirsty at all. So we'll have to see what these look like. Oh, look at them. Look how great they look. This guy's small. Look at this. So this, and I'll show you a comparison. This bottom one was my seed potato, and this top one is the potato that it grew from. So the seed potatoes, I didn't cut these ones, I just planted them whole. You can tell, this one's actually not as mushy as I would expect. It has a mushy spot right there. You can tell, this actually might even not even be a seed potato. This might be the first potato that plant set. But I'm gonna assume, because I don't see another potato on here. Yeah, I don't see another potato on here. This is 100% the seed potato. So what I'm gonna do is I typically, especially I love to get volunteer potatoes. You plant potatoes once, you have them forever. If you leave any kind of potato behind, you will get potatoes next year. So I like to take these and throw these throughout my garden, and then that's how I have the volunteer potatoes sprouting over there. That was my potato patch last year. But I'll throw this back in this bed and I'll leave it, and it'll grow me potatoes again this fall or next spring. So you can see the difference here. Here's a new potato, and everything is growing out of this potato here. All the roots, the stems, the greenery is growing out of this potato here. That's my seed potato. These are my new potatoes. Okay, look at all of those potatoes. I am so excited. So I'm so happy that I planted these potatoes in the first place, because I wouldn't have this right now. And this is so many more potatoes than I thought it was gonna be. So I am so excited. I'm itchy. I didn't put any bug spray on me before I came out here, and the bugs have found me. But I'm so excited for these potatoes. So let's talk about potatoes just for a second. Okay, I have planted potatoes 2 different ways at this point, and I think I have finalized my preferred method. So for years, I've done the Ruth Stout method in planting potatoes, and all that means is that you put your potatoes directly on the top of the dirt. You don't cover them with any dirt. You literally place them on top of the ground, and you cover them with straw. I've done that. I've had great success. The pros to Ruth Stout are you don't have to dig. You don't have to get a pitchfork out and try to spear your potatoes. It works great. The cons, in my experience, is you don't get as many potatoes. So I have big potatoes. I have a lot of potatoes. For the amount of potatoes that I put back, and I'm gonna go away and I'm gonna check last year's video. Last year I planted 12 pounds of new potatoes. 12 pounds of seed potatoes. And I think I got maybe, I don't even know. I need to check, see what I got last year. This year I planted probably 4 pounds of old potatoes that I grew from last year's garden. And I got so much more than I did with the 12 pounds of potatoes I planted last year. So there are a couple of things that I think help with that success. So this year, I just put them directly in the ground. So if you were watching as I was digging up the potatoes, my soil is incredibly loose. These potatoes were coming right out. I did not have to get a pitchfork. I did not have to fight them. The potatoes came right out, which is exactly what I wanted. So I felt like even though these were in the soil, they were not any harder to harvest, number one. And number two, I felt I got more potatoes with them being in the soil. They had more room to move out. They had more nutrients. I feel like I got more potatoes and I got bigger potatoes. So that's really exciting. So like I said, I'm going to cover this bed with some straw, and I'm going to let it sit for about 2 weeks before I turn back around. I'm going to amend it with some compost, amend it with some more potash, and just an all-purpose fertilizer. And then I'm going to replant this same bed with potatoes. So these potatoes that I have here, let me put them in a basket so I can show you. Oh my God, that is a heavy basket. Look at that. That is a big basket that is very full. So I will be honest, I'm gonna weigh these because I do want to know how many pounds of potatoes this is. I'm gonna guess 22 pounds. We'll see if I'm right. I have no idea. And keep in mind, I've harvested enough potatoes for 2, maybe 3 side dishes of potatoes. So I've pulled 4 plants. So I think that's exciting. So with these potatoes, my plan was not to do anything preserving wise with them, because I'm going to do a whole fall harvest. I'm not going to go through all of these before fall. So we probably will end up doing some preserving on these, and I'll bring you guys along for that. But what we're gonna do with these is I'm gonna not wash any of the dirt off. Don't mess with any of these. I'm gonna completely clean off my dining room table. I'm gonna put towels down, or maybe I'll do it in my basement. You wanna find a dark, cool place with some air circulation, which is why I said maybe my dining room table. And then you wanna lay these out for about 2 weeks to cure, and that just hardens their skin. There are some rumors, or I guess people have some personal opinions on you can't eat these potatoes directly out of the ground. You need them to cure first, and I disagree with that. I've picked many of these and eaten them directly out of the ground. The thing you want to be mindful of is their flesh is incredibly, if you can kind of see, I don't know if I can, their flesh kind of breaks away. It's very thin. So we want to get these guys that are looking good, in good shape. I am going to get them cured so they last longer. I have a couple that are doing weird things. I don't know how that happens. If anyone knows how that happens, I would love to know. I have no idea. I have very few that are like this, just a handful. These are perfectly edible. We are going to eat these first. These will not cure, so don't try to cure these. Just these are going to be added to my dinner plan for this week, and they'll last longer than this week, but we're just going to get them eaten. See, so we don't have many, so the ones that are split like this we're just going to eat now. And then one thing, I didn't realize I planted any Idaho bacon potatoes, but I will say once you plant them once, I actually don't know, I typically do have an Idaho potato volunteer over yonder, and I don't see him, so I think I finally got all of him out of there. That volunteer was I think 3 years old, so I'm actually kind of sad that didn't come back this year. But any potato parts you leave in the ground, and I've left some. I've left pieces that are smaller than this. I've left the seed potatoes. They will come back again. I've had great success with volunteer potatoes. So that's one thing I really like. This is a great thing. I buy my potatoes directly from the store. I don't buy seed potatoes. I buy them directly from the store, throw them in the ground, and they do great things. And then with your Idaho bacon potatoes, your light skin potatoes, and your red skin potatoes, what can happen is your green or your like light skin potatoes can start turning green, and that's actually a photosynthesis. I think it's a photosynthesis thing. It's when your potatoes are getting sun and they're having a reaction with the sun, and they say that if your potato gets too green, it gets toxic for you. Take that with a grain of salt. I have eaten many a green potato and I've been just fine. It won't kill you, it'll just give you an upset stomach. I always say I have a rock solid stomach. No one in my office, my work office, will eat some of the things that I say that I eat. Like I don't listen to like Best By dates at all. I don't know. I have a rock solid stomach that nothing's gonna mess with me. So take that with a grain of salt. If a green potato was gonna take me down, I would rather die. A green potato is not gonna be the demise of Caitlin. So that is something you can be aware of. And again, do your own research on it. I eat them and I think they're fine. But that's what I like about the red Norland potatoes here. And these are just red bacon potatoes I got from Giant from the grocery store. These don't get green as easily as the light skin potatoes. So, and how you prevent that is you just want to make sure they're covered with soil. I don't know if you could see in the video, there were some potatoes that were kind of just like sticking up above the soil. That's the part that would turn green on those acceptable potatoes. So you just want to keep them away from the light, and then when we cure them, we want to keep them away from the light again, because they can still turn green after you have harvested them if they're getting too much sunlight. So this is a great harvest, and our harvesting day is not done. So let me real quick talk to you about the brassicas, and then we have some more things we're going to pick. And I'm actually going to take this inside because this is heavy, and I'm going to get a second basket for our second harvest. So we'll be right back to talk about the brassicas. Okay, so let's discuss. I've left these potato plants that are still flowering. I'm going to leave them just for argument's sake. But I did remove the insect netting off of my brassicas. So my brassicas, if you weren't here for this story, I planted these brassicas in March. Slugs found them instantly. I didn't know they were slugs. I didn't know what it was. They destroyed this crop of brassicas. I put the insect netting up thinking that was going to save them, but the slugs were on the inside. The slugs were actually in the soil. So I very much lost my brassica crop. So these brassicas were eaten down to nothing. And I never actually expected them to do anything. But as you can see, I now have some decent sized plants. This right here is a cabbage, and it's just starting to head up. These are some cauliflowers. They have nothing in them, but the plants themselves look amazing. So I was gonna pull these out. I am gonna put new brassicas in here. I have started new broccolis for the fall. I was gonna pull these out because I do think it's gonna get too hot for these to actually do anything. But I thought if I pull them out, there's 100% chance that they're not gonna do anything. If I let them continue, there's a chance I might still get vegetables or fruit off of these plants. So I decided I'm gonna let these plants go, and we're gonna see what happens. Another thing you might notice is I have a ton of thistle. So this year I broke all of my rules. I'm an organic gardener through and through. I never put anything on my garden. I was forced, and if you can see all of this thistle here, I was forced to break my rules this year. And for this year and this year only, we are spraying the heck out of the thistle. So I am going to wait. I'm not going to spray them with these plants here. But I'm also not pulling the thistle. I probably should because it is going to seed. But thistle, at least for me, spreads like insane. It's so gross how fast it spreads and how far it spreads. So I tried for years to pull thistle, to dig thistle, to get thistle under control. And thistle's a taproot that if you even leave like a centimeter of it behind, it will regrow another plant and then it'll spread. And so I gave it a lot of thought. I thought for a full year before I actually put any poison on the ground. But it unfortunately got to the point where I needed to do something drastic. So I am leaving this thistle here. Maybe not the best thing because it is flowering, but I am going to spray it with poison in an effort to try to get rid of the thistle for next year. I don't honestly know that it's working. I still have thistle come up in all of my garden paths. I still see thistle. But I said I was going to devote myself to doing it for this year. So I'm going to go through the whole year, spray the thistle, and see what happens. And Sawyer Bell, hi baby. Sawyer loves to lay in fresh beds. So don't mind her. See, right? Say, don't mind you. Don't mind you. Okay, now looking at this jungle, what do we see? Does anyone see anything fun that we want to talk about? Look at that, it's our first tomato. Oh no, oh we got it. This is such an exciting moment. This is our first tomato from our garden of the 2024 year. We're gonna enjoy it together and I'm so excited. Holy heck. Oh my God. If you have never had a sun-ripened tomato, it is mind-blowing. That was so full of flavor. No tomatoes. There's a mosquito. Oh, I got him. No. I went in to get a basket. Didn't grab the mosquito spray. No store-bought tomato tastes like a sun-ripened tomato. So I have a feeling I have maybe a couple more in there. So we're gonna go ahead and grab this big guy. See if we can get some more tomatoes. This is a jungle. I need to come out here and do some pruning. The biggest thing that I see is I don't have a lot of airflow going on in here. So I'm gonna need to come in and do some pruning, but I just see so many tomatoes. I see red down there. Do we see red down there? Let's see what we can get. Okay, I'm gonna leave that guy and I'm gonna show you why. So this is a vine cherry tomato that I planted, I think, for the first time this year. And I really want to harvest the whole vine. I want to see if I can get the whole vine and harvest and then kind of like roast it as a whole vine like that. So I'm going to leave that guy. But I see that guy. Look at that. So we're going to keep an eye on that guy. Look at the number of tomatoes in this plant. And then there's a pickle. There's a little pickle. I'm going to let him go one more day and then I'm going to try to grab him. But look how many. Goodness, look at all of them. Look at this jungle. There's another pickle. Oh, look, there's one. Okay, I'm working my way up the other side of the garden bed, but I mean, look at this corn. Oh, it is officially taller than me. And I think I'm on a slight incline from the corn. So the rule is the corn needs to be knee-high by the 4th of July. It's July 1st, and this corn is taller. You stretch it out, it's taller than me, but even if you don't, it's well above my shoulders. So that is so exciting. So excited. So excited. Okay, one thing about me is I hate to kill plants. I hate to kill plants. It goes against everything that I hold dear. But I'm about to pull a tomato plant, and I'm gonna show you why. I've been letting this plant go to see if it was gonna do anything, to see if it was maybe a lack of water or something else going on, and I don't think it is. I think this plant is just diseased, and I don't know why. And with tomato plants, especially with how close I have these tomatoes planted together, I don't want to take any chance of getting a disease to my crop. So I just made the executive decision, which it hurts me to say this, but I'm gonna pull this tomato plant. So look at this beautiful, healthy bunch of tomatoes. Like there's like, I don't even know, 7 plants in here, all beautiful, doing great things. And then come down to this one here. This one doesn't look good here. And then if we come down here, we have just some issues going on that none of my other plants have. It does look like it's setting new leaves, but that's not a healthy plant. So I want to pull this so that it doesn't infect the rest of my crop. It sucks because it does have plants on it, flowers on it, but she's coming out. So all my other plants are massive. I mean, look at them. These are 5-foot poles, 5-foot stakes, and they're up to the top of them. This one, clearly not, and clearly looks pretty bad. And what I actually thought was new growth is a different plant that I think is actually fine. This one just doesn't look healthy at all. I'm gonna throw this guy. I'm not gonna put him in my compost bin because he has disease. I don't have a hot compost. If you had hot compost, you could put him in your compost bin. But I don't have hot compost. And even if I did, I honestly wouldn't mess with disease. I'm honestly not 100% sure that's correct, that you could put him in a hot compost bin and the hot compost would kill, or the heat of the compost would kill the disease. So he's gonna go into just the garbage can. And I don't know what a lot of these potatoes are, but I do know that one was a Brandywine. So I think I only planted 2 Brandywines, and that was one of them. So that sucks. And I'm looking in this tomato jungle, and I don't know that I see my other. Oh, there it is. There's my Brandywine, I think. Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know if I have another Brandywine in here. Oh, there it is. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So Brandywines have what's called a potato leaf. So this, like, I don't know, ragged edge is a typical tomato leaf. That one actually isn't looking so good either. Typical tomato leaf. A Brandywine has what's called potato leaves. This is a Brandywine tomato. Now I'm kind of digging. I've seen other things I don't like. Like, I don't like the look of that leaf right there, but we're not ripping out all our potatoes. That's a potato leaf. So that is a tomato, but it's called a Brandywine tomato. So here is 2 to compare. So we have our potato leaf there, and then our typical tomato leaf there. So that's just the different varieties of tomatoes. Okay, so we didn't get really any more tomatoes yet. I have that one vine that I'm really looking at, but we have a lot of yellow ones. But I did pick these 2. And we're gonna eat these 2 now. These are, so the first kind, I think, which is a vine cherry. These are Sengold cherries, which are my favorite type of tomato. That one wasn't quite done yet. This one is though. Are you ready for this? I'm ready for this. Impeccable. There is nothing like a hot garden tomato. It's not even, it's warm from the sun, but it's so delicious. So we picked those tomatoes. We also found 2 zucchini. I knew I had missed this guy. I saw this guy yesterday and I want to make a zucchini boat. So I'm like, I'll let him go another day so he can get nice and big for a boat. I didn't know about this guy. So that's okay. I'm at this point, I'm harvesting at least 1 zucchini every single day. So you've been eating a ton of just sauteed zucchini. It's one of my favorite ways to eat zucchini. So I'm excited to have this in the freezer. And I'm gonna do a video talking about everything I make with my garden produce. If I already have a video out, I'm not gonna remake the video. I'll just tell you I have a video out. But I am gonna do that video probably this weekend, talking about all the things that you can make with all the things coming in from the garden right now. We did just find a pickle. This pickle was lost. This is a decent sized pickle. I'm not upset with the size of this pickle. I've lost a couple pickles in there that I found when they're not that far away from being zucchini size. So I'm just right now kind of collecting the pickles as they come in. Once I get a nice batch, I'm gonna make a round of pickles. Things that we are harvesting from. I had my first 3 banana peppers from over in the pepper garden. They're very small. They weren't really growing. So I thought, you know what, we're gonna pick them and see if that'll tell the plant to keep sending off more flowers and more plants. My snap peas are still coming. I did just do a big harvest 2 days ago. So I saw one down here, that little guy. So these are still coming. So as these come in, I'm going to continue to harvest. I did find, oh, look down here. Oh, those got missed. Oops, I mean, cut that whole plant by accident. Look, there's one. So we are officially in the season where you have to bring a basket with you every single time you come to the garden, because the garden is putting in work. So I got 4 little snap peas. They're just going to be a snack. I do like to put, typically I put just for me 4 bags of peas into the freezer to eat in the fall and in the winter. And I got my 4 bags of peas put back. So now anything extra that I get will be just bonus. Frozen snap peas and frozen snow peas are obviously not as good as fresh, but you have that hankering for a pea or for spring in the middle of winter. Come here. When you have that hankering for peas in the beginning of winter, or that hankering for spring when it's snowing, they do a nice job at kind of holding you over until spring comes, and then you can have fresh ones. So people ask me all the time, oh my god, my peas are coming like gangbusters. I need to pick more peas. I might have enough for a full side dish. So people ask me all the time, why would you freeze peas when in this day and age you can go to the grocery store and you can buy fresh peas all year long? The reason that I do that is not even because of the chemicals that I don't use on my plants, not because of anything else other than these were essentially free to me. I bought a packet of seeds, and honestly you can save the peas themselves. That's the seed that you put in the ground. And I bought a packet of seeds, and I was able to get what is essentially free food. So I don't want to eat something just to eat it, just to use it. Where if I'm not in the mood for it right now, I can wait, put it in the freezer until I am in the mood for it. And it tastes better than the store anyway, especially because I knew that I grew it. The snow peas are what's coming in right now. The snow peas are really putting in work. So fun when I was just planning on coming out here and harvesting potatoes. Got way more than I bargained for. And here I am getting way more than just potatoes. Let's stop. We still have kale. My kale is still coming in. I can still eat my kale. At this point, the kale though is largely for the bunny. I'll show you why. I'm gonna do it. All those little white things flying are aphids, and typically all of the white that you see underneath of the leaves are aphids. So you can still eat this, you just want to wash all of that out, and it will get worse as the summer progresses. So some people would tell you to pull this broccoli now that pull this kale now that the aphids have found it. I still think this kale is so pretty. I love how it looks, so I leave it well into the fall. I leave it till the aphids honestly become too much, and I feed it to my bunny. My bunny loves it. I think it's great color in the garden. I'm here for it. I have a little bit of broccoli still coming. I harvested the main head of this broccoli right here. Harvested the main head of this broccoli right there. So broccoli puts off little shoots. So we'll take him right now actually, and we'll chomp on him as a snack. I also still have a couple of strawberries. I put a shade cloth on the strawberries to try to keep them cooler and away from so much of the sun. But see, they are still producing strawberries. The bugs are starting to find them. I need to spray them with some neem oil. But we're still getting some strawberries. So that's some strawberries coming. And then my lettuce is obviously bolted. The lettuce is getting fed to the bunny too at this point. And then I just have to mention this beautiful echinacea. I love it. Okay friends, I think I gave you a nice tour of what's going on in the garden. We got a lot of stuff out of the garden. We have a lot of stuff happening in the garden. And we are at that time when the produce is just rolling in. And my best friend, Jessica at Roots and Refuge, if you follow me for any bit of time, Jessica and I are best friends. I've never met her. She does not know I exist. But in my head, she is one of my best friends. Am I crazy? Yes. Yes, I am. Anywho, she has the perfect saying, this time of year, the abundance. I just lost it. Something about abundance. She has the perfect saying, the burden of abundance. So right now, we have all this wonderful food coming in, and I'm so excited about it. But that also means that we need to make sure we're eating all this food. We went to all this work to plant this magnificent garden, and we need to make sure that we're able to get this garden eaten, so none of this food goes to waste. So stay tuned to the end of this video. I am going to put the weight of those potatoes, and what I did last year. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video. This was an excited evening. Bye friends, thanks for joining me.